So the Black Ops 6 closed beta is coming to an end for everybody that pre-ordered the game or has Game Pass, and after hitting max rank and spending a ton of hours and experiencing every game mode and map, I wanted to tell you all what I thought they did well, as well as what I thought they could improve on. Now, I understand that all of my criticisms and concerns can't be addressed before released, but maybe over time with updates the game can smooth out some of the problems I had and make it a more refined and enjoyable experience. I want to start with the pregame interface and the class setup systems. The game being a part of Call of Duty HQ is a bit annoying, and I just wish I could download the game separately instead of going through like three extra menus that I don't really need to see. It's not a huge deal or anything, it's just a small complaint I had to start off with. Anyways, the pregame interface is pretty standard, and it's almost the same as Cold War. It works for what it is. It's pretty simple, and it's easy to navigate, so that's a plus. Looking at the creative class, the gunsmith has returned with the weapons instead of the pick 10 system, and honestly, I just wish we didn't have the ability to put five different attachments on a gun and still run overkill on top of that to run an entire whole other gun that's fully kitted out with five more attachments. Speaking of the weapons, they were given a pretty balanced shake this time around. There are some standouts like the Jackal PDW. It's easily the best SMG, but it's not like to an unfair level or anything like that. Field upgrades make an appearance in every single class. You can change it whichever class depending on what you want it to be. You've got assault packs, trophy systems, neurogas, and the acoustic amp. The field upgrades are fine. I mean, they add some variability to each class. The acoustic amp is not nearly as used as the rest of them are, but I'm sure there's going to be more when the full game comes out. And one of the new features in Black Ops 6 is the class specialties. So if you pick three of the perks that are in like the same type of class, like a certain play style each of the perks will fit into, it will give you an added ability on top of the three perks that you picked already. The Enforcer gives you temporary buffs to movement and health regeneration after you kill somebody. Recon gives you a short outline of where enemies are through walls after you're killed, as well as a HUD indication where an enemy is if they're looking at you, but they're outside your field of view. As well as it doesn't show death skulls for enemies when after you kill them. Lastly, the strategist earns score bonuses for objectives. It gives you the ability to see the enemy equipment through the walls, and it gives you and your equipment much faster. It gives you your equipment much faster as well as field upgrades. My personal favorite from these is definitely the Enforcer, as I'm more of a run around type of player instead of a camping or, one of the recon specialists or anything like that. The operators have obviously made a return as well. I'm not sure who thought they weren't going to return for this, but they're definitely back in full force. I'm not sure what all is going to transfer over from Modern Warfare 3, but reaching max rank, there's a couple skins you can unlock, and they won't be available later in the game, so it's cool that they gave rewards to the people that played all the way through the beta to get to max rank. But moving into more of the gameplay aspect, getting into the servers was kind of a pain in the ass. It was because there were times that it was just so overloaded with players, like a Friday night or a Sunday afternoon was really hard to get into a game because of how bad the server lag was. But that's definitely going to be fully ironed out before the game releases. Another issue I had even after getting in the games was I would get disconnected every so often because of like a dev error or a connection issue when it was definitely not my internet that was having the issues. Just stuff like that I hope can get addressed before the game fully releases. But when you're actually in the game, it feels genuinely great to play. The movement's smooth, the gun feels satisfying to use, and the maps all play pretty well aside from a couple exceptions. There's one side of the derelict map, just getting into the maps here. The derelict map has the entire right side is like almost funneled into one little corridor area. It's got like an open gate type of area that just you have to funnel through if you want to go through the right side of the three lanes. But it's more of like which side is going to walk through and get shot first, because if they are just sitting there camping, there's no way for you to break through that unless you have like a vantage point. And what I wish I could have seen with that is like ways for you to see to the other side before having to just walk out there and immediately get eviscerated. Maybe if they put some sight lines to check if someone's on the other side, I think that would help a ton. But aside from that, all the maps are pretty well made, 3 lanes with pretty unique designs and atmosphere. I believe one of them was like a rooftop mansion sort of feel. One of them was a broken satellite dish. Another was a rundown, I think it was West Virginia rundown train station. So they're all pretty diverse, and the designs are really well made as well. I know you can change the HUD. I'm not sure if you could in the beta. I didn't even look at that, but the default HUD looks pretty good. There's nothing super obstructive or distracting that gives you everything you need. There's no extra stuff that just wastes screen space. So I'd say they did a pretty good job on that front as well. Definitely an improvement from like the Modern Warfare HUDs. I really didn't like those. The new Omni movement is obviously the biggest change in the game, and I can definitely say that they did a great job on making it a smooth system. It takes a little bit to get used to all the new features with it, like the tac sprint on top of being able to run in any direction, while also having to worry about firing at enemies at the same time. But once you do get all of that down and you figure it out and you combine all of those into your gameplay, you genuinely feel like John Wick on Adderall running around these maps. It becomes super fast paced. Everyone's got it figured out by the time the beta was over, and it was insanely fast gameplay. It was a ton of fun, but at the same time, when it's happening to you and you're getting circles ran around you by enemy players because the movement is super fast, it can be really frustrating. But I guess that's just a skill issue on my part, and that'll really happen on any Call of Duty if you don't understand the gameplay completely. The game definitely takes movement in the right direction. It's probably got my favorite movement from any Call of Duty, and that includes like Black Ops 3, which was my favorite before this. The movement, even if it is like kind of confusing at first, once you understand all the mechanics, it is by far the most fair and innovative way we've ever seen movement in Call of Duty. So I really got to commend Treyarch for having this down to such a science that it is such smooth gameplay. It's fair. There's no like super bad glitches that I've seen so far. And honestly, the movement system is the best part of the game by far. It adds a ton of variability to the gameplay and it makes it more fair. So it's like once you do get killed, there are ways you can see that would make you can see where you messed up and what you could have done to make sure that didn't happen. It it makes you think about what you did wrong because there's just so many variables that you could do that could get you out of situations that when you die there's almost always something you could have done to prevent it. The sliding and dolphin diving combo being in the game is great to have. I don't know why it took them so long to figure out that this would be a good thing to have in the movement system, but they got it down really well. The movement is by far the most enjoyable part of the game with how fluid and complete it is. From what we've gotten in the beta, I think Black Ops 6 has some amazing potential, and I could easily see this being one of the best Call of Duties we've gotten since Black Ops 3. The movement is amazing, the class setups are good, the new additions that come with that is good. They only add to the player enjoyment, and the maps so far are pretty great with some minor issues. Obviously, there's going to be a lot more weapons, maps, camos, operators. There's tons more to be released when the game is fully out. But to sum it all up, I think Black Ops 6 is set up to be a great year for Call of Duty fans. Anyways, thank you for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. Like the video if you liked it. And I'll see you in the next one.